everyone. Welcome to the 7th episode of the Moviebusters podcast. We're back from our break. Well, you won't have noticed it, but we're
our
here
bulk
with a new
session.
week. Our bulk session, yeah. So this is actually the first podcast we've recorded in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
It's nice to see you guys.
It is, isn't it?
You guys,
yeah.
Got the beards going.
Yeah.
Jesus. So let's talk about our choices then, because this theme of the week was remakes of classics.
But you guys didn't know
originals.
that, did you? They didn't know that. We don't put on the poll.
This is
the theme this week. We just put 3 films.
I wonder if anyone... Well, they are.
Do you reckon anyone caught on to that?
No, they're very...
We like to put little messages in.
Like King Kong, Ocean's 11 and...
Yeah, so let's say who's... Waterworld, yeah. Say whose choices... What's your choice was King Kong?
Yeah, so my choice was Peter Jackson's King Kong. And I haven't actually seen the original King Kong.
Have you not?
No.
I've seen the original King Kong.
I have.
I'm going to get slated for this, but the reason why I picked King Kong is because I've got it on Blu-ray.
Oh, here it comes.
And
We've only just got back and we're back in Jack's Blu-ray corner.
I've had it for 2 years and
Jake,
I've never opened it.
Let's talk about Blu-rays.
So that's the reason why I wanted
What, the
to
original
watch it.
you've got it? Or
No,
you've
I've got the
Peter
remake,
Jackson?
Peter Jackson's one, yeah.
You really love Peter Jackson as well, don't you?
Oh, I love I love The Frighteners. I love Brain Dead. I do really... I think Fellowship of the Ring is a complete film.
Yeah.
I think I would have to give that a 10 out of 10. I think it's that good.
10 out of 10,
It's
wow.
perfect, that film.
Controversially as well, you rate The Hobbit.
I like the fun of it though. I love the abundance of CGI in it. Is actually makes my stomach turn. It makes me feel ill. It's just
really bad, yeah.
It's just not right. And then I just love the humor of it. It's like it's just a fun adventure. But I just think there's had so many troubles with them films. I honestly I think that he's an absolute maniac to do them 3 films again. And then the whole Legolas and introduction into it, I don't mind. But everyone moans about the 3rd film coming out of nowhere. But I guess if you were a fan of it, you'd love that. There's so many people who demand more of it, and he gave them more, and he's getting slated for it. So I don't know. But
would you have preferred The Hobbit if it came out before Lord of the Rings? I know the books came out before, but if you hadn't watched Lord of the Rings but watched The Hobbit first, so let's say someone who's listening to this podcast hasn't seen Lord of the Rings trilogy. Would you suggest to them to watch Hobbit first?
No.
But Hobbit is the prequel to it.
Yeah. And
I think it would put them off.
I think it would put them off as well. In hindsight, and also this is getting like a recurring issue, but hindsight is a wonderful thing. If he would have made The Hobbit first, I would have been scared, if I was a fan, to see what he would have done with The Lord of the Rings, because it's bigger on scale. And then, I just think like Lurtz in the first one, that the antagonist, who's the orc, the big Uruk-hai.
Yeah.
He's not in the books.
He's not in the books, but it's an excellent inclusion.
Is that the guy that's like
Pale Orc? Yeah, is it Pale Orc?
No. In the beginning, he's the one who gets his head chopped off by Aragorn. He kills Sean Bean with a thing.
Oh, right, okay.
Like that would have been a CGI character, but because all them characters are real and they're running, you can feel like the atmosphere of the footsteps. When they run through the forests and stuff. I think it's really good.
I suppose more people flock to The Hobbit because they liked Lord of the Rings.
Precisely.
Like I still haven't seen the last 2 in the trilogy of The Hobbits.
I've got them both on extended edition 3D Blu-rays.
No one cares. I still haven't seen, because I watched the first one. I got bored. I couldn't be bothered. So then, after I watched the first Hobbit, I then went and watched Lord of the Rings trilogy, every single film in a row, and I was like, well, I'm not going to watch another Hobbit. I
think the problem is with Hobbit, the films are so long. If you've got a film that's like 3 hours plus or 2.5 hours plus, there's got to be a reason for it. It's got to be really fucking good for it as well. That's why Lord of the Rings is so good.
Yeah, I mean, me and Rob have discussed this before, because Rob has a really big trepidation with the Hobbit films. But I think that the problem with the Hobbit films is that, yes, they're 3 hours long, but they're all different films. Like the Lord of the Rings, you can watch them in one sitting, and it's the first one's an adventure film, the second one is an adventure film, third one is an adventure film. It's a story. The first Hobbit film is an adventure film, and I love the first one. I think it's got so much heart with the trolls and stuff. The second one is a heist film, and the third one is an action film. It's a battle.
They should have just stuck with the adventure formula, because it clearly does work.
I wouldn't have done the third film. I would have copied. The second one goes on too long, and it just and I don't like the bookmark where we see Smaug and the second one goes over. But
bearing in mind, this is a book which is shorter than the Fellowship of the Ring, which has been split into 3 parts.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
each part is 3 hours.
I'm a fan of that world. I grew up with that world, so I love it. But I can honestly say that I do think it's too long. Like the Unexpected Journey, the first one, is 2 hours and 55 minutes. That's his theatrical cut. But I read an article the other day about the third one because I saw the third one. That's my third film franchise I saw in the cinema.
Yeah.
So the first one was like it must have been like the Batman trilogy. The second one must have been something else.
Is it Harry Potter maybe?
No, I never watched all
trilogy,
of them.
is it?
Oh no, trilogy is shit. Yeah.
But the Hobbit one was like the first one I ever really watched. But in all honesty, I think that the third one was taken out of his hands by the producers because they wanted an action film. And I think that he's on record of saying at the premiere, "Have you seen the film yet?" And he said, "I don't know what the studio have done to it, so not yet."
Okay.
So
Jesus.
It's weird how like he still technically hasn't been paid for the first Lord of the Rings films either.
Does he not?
No, the contracts were because they were owned by Warner Brothers is The Hobbits, by MGM it's a joint production, but the Lord of the Rings is a New Line Cinema.
Oh right, fair enough.
And he hasn't still been paid, so I find that and obviously MGM went bankrupt, and Skyfall had to do something, and The Hobbit made them a lot of money back, so. I would love to see more of that story, but I don't think he's still being paid for them, and that's what 14 years ago now.
As we were saying earlier about if he made The Hobbit before Lord of the Rings, I think if he'd made The Hobbit before The Lord of the Rings, it wouldn't have been in 3 parts. It would have been one film.
I don't think it would have been one film.
You sure?
What, The Hobbit? Or
yeah,
I definitely think he would have put it in one film. Maybe even include it in a trilogy and then put it as like a prequel.
No, I think he'd have made us 2 of them because if you watch the behind the scenes of them, it shows the rap party in Lord of the Rings, and he goes to New Zealand, Auckland, and they're all shouting "The Hobbit, the Hobbit, the Hobbit," and he says from that point on he was always like he had like really like bad feeling about it. He says that like the demand for it then was so huge that he didn't know what to do, so he stepped away, and then Guillermo del Toro came on board. And I'm being honest. I think that there's blood there. I think that if you do a franchise, as much as you don't want to go back and hurt, the nerve circle of it all by the fans, I think it was the best decision for him to go back because if you put another, Del Toro, the Hobbit's 60 years before Lord of the Rings, and everything's different. It's colourful. It's more bright because there's no darkness in the world.
Yeah.
Del Toro could have made that really well because then you can stipulate between 2 different designs because it's 2 different worlds at that point. If Francis Ford Coppola did the 2 Godfather films, part 1, part 2, and Scorsese did the 3rd one. There's no blood there, so it doesn't feel connective as like tissue. But the whole King Kong thing is like I find that very strange how he made a passion project of 3 films in one go. Waited I think it's about 4 years to do a King Kong spectacular film. I thought he would have done The Lovely Bones before that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because his career is a very strange career because he hasn't done a lot, has he? No. I mean, he's done 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 12.
He kind of dipped his hands in horror a bit, and then kind of went. And then he kind of went into Lord of the Rings kind of out of nowhere, really.
Well, when he filmed The Frighteners, he did it with Michael J. Fox, which is quite ironic because Dave's favourite film franchise is Back to the Future, and Michael J. Fox was suffering from Parkinson's at that stage, at the start of his career. And Michael J. Fox was filming New Zealand, and that film, The Frighteners, which you should all go out, is the first signs of how Jackson could direct. Like the ghosts are the same sort of CGI as the ghosts in the 3rd Return of the King. Like the underwater scenes are like from King Kong. Like if you look at his history, Jackson like puts it back in. But that film was the last film Michael J. Fox ever did because he was too far away from his family. So it basically stopped his career. But there's a really good sign. There's a really good scene in it and the special features where he keeps on shouting out to this character and he accidentally always says Doc in Back to the Future, and it's a sign of his disease. But everyone was on set, no one knew, and everyone was like laughing at it. And he was like, he just forgot. But in later life, it was. Well,
when you look back at it now, like you say, hindsight.
Yeah, it was because of his disease. But The Frighteners is a good film. But Peter Jackson's a bit. He's a good visionary director. But could Peter Jackson make a Tarantino film? No. Could Peter Jackson make a gangster film? No.
Yeah, but these are like 2 very different things. Like, could Peter Jackson make a Star Wars film?
Yeah.
Yes. I
would love to have seen that. I think he's a visionary director. He's beautiful with. I mean, I love the Andy Serkis partnership with him. I mean, in King Kong, Andy Serkis plays King Kong, and then he plays Cook on the ship. For a long time, I didn't know Andy Serkis.
Do you think the Star Wars prequels would have been better if Peter Jackson did them?
Yeah. But then again, it's like I said earlier, it's connective tissue.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the best thing that Lucas did.
The prequels?
Yeah, maybe it didn't turn out the way he planned, but it's his babies, it's his children.
Yeah, I suppose.
There's an interview of him in the Force Awakens just before that. He was on the red carpet, and they're like, "What are you going to do now, George Lucas?" And he's like, "I'm just going to make films for myself and my friends." So it's really depressing. He's said it really sadly as well. He seemed very kind of like,
that man will never make a film again.
Yeah,
he has not.
It's a shame because it's his franchise and he's kind of ruined his own franchise, but for so many people who love the franchise that he created in the first place, and for people to turn on a franchise that he's made.
Yeah, but again, do you think that the prequels would have been better if they were done before? If we didn't have this preconception of what was happening, the fourth, the fifth,
that's
the sixth.
That's why the prequels work in a matter of fact, because we know the story. We want to go back and see more. That's why The Hobbit works, because it's information we don't know. We're just given. That's why I'm very sceptical about Rogue One, because Rogue One's is another strange story. But we'll come to that again later. But it's just the fact that, like you said, The Hobbit, Peter Jackson. I mean, like George Lucas will never make a film again after that. It's Peter Jackson's next step after The Hobbit films will be a huge step, because I don't know what he'll do.
He'll probably just go back to making films like Frighteners.
Yeah, I think he probably. I mean, have you guys seen The Lovely Bones?
I haven't seen The
Lovely Bones is a very hit and miss film, but it's just a very strange film. But George Lucas is on record for saying that he offered Attack of the Clones to Spike Jonze, the director of Her, John Malkovich, because he was going out with Sophie Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola's. Yeah. They split up, and Francis Ford Coppola, a good friend of George Lucas, made sure that Spike Jonze never had that film.
I wonder
so in essence, it's just spite.
Well, moving on from one visionary director to the next, Spielberg, Warner World.
Yeah, this is a very strange. Go on, Rob, because I find this a very strange choice.
I didn't choose it because I liked the film or anything like that. I've seen it in the past, saw it when I was a lot younger. But I loved War of the Worlds as a franchise. I've got a lot of nostalgia with the soundtrack of the radio show. Yeah, and I kind of wanted to see what you guys thought of it and what you think about Spielberg as well, because Spielberg obviously he's probably one of the most well-known directors that's out there, but realistically he either hits the spot really fucking well, or he completely misses it. So like not Temple of Doom, Crystal Skull, War of the Worlds, some would say, and then I mean,
I'll always have a special place in my heart for Spielberg, because I think he was an executive producer on Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Is that So, but there's a lot of Spielberg films where I'm just like, he's taken more of a producer role now, hasn't he? Like he's the new Indiana Jones. He's not directing it. He's producing
he's directing it.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I feel like a fool.
No, but you are right, because he produces a lot of stuff.
It just feels like. So he's remaking a lot of his old films. Like if you have a look on his IMDb page, it's literally like he's cracked open the crate and he's like, right, I'm going to remake that, or like sequel that, and that. It just seems like he's not doing any original stuff anymore.
I mean, he's not a young man anymore. I think the time he's 70. I think he's 69 or 71 now. I don't think he can make Jaws anymore, unfortunately. But he's a very interesting story about Spielberg. Spielberg, when Martin Luther King was going to get a biopic in the late 70s, maybe early 80s, Spielberg, or maybe even 90s, Spielberg bought the rights to his speeches so that he could use them later in life for a film or sell them on. And now they made Ava DuVernay, who directed Selma, couldn't use the speeches in her film about Martin Luther King. So he's always gone back, like you said. When he says open the crates, there must be a lot in there.
Oh yeah,
he's got a new film called Robopocalypse coming out very soon.
That just sounds like
such Is he directing what's that one based on the book? It's about
BFG.
Not about BFG.
That comes out this year.
There's another one. It's called. I can't remember what it's called, but it's about a book where they go into like these virtual reality kind of work.
That's Robopocalypse, I think.
Is it Robopocalypse?
I think it is. Michael Mann was going to do it for a long time.
It's I don't think that's the name of the book, but it seems very, very interesting anyway. Because one of my friends is a very, very big fan of the book, and he was very excited about it.
I think when you think about Spielberg, you think, or what I think about, it's like the quintessential 90s Hollywood filmmaker is Spielberg.
He's a big block.
I'd give you that. I would say that as well.
It's like E.T.
When I think blockbusters, I think Spielberg.
Yeah.
I would. I think he's the pioneer of the blockbuster. I mean, Jaws was the first blockbuster ever made. I mean,
exactly. So like, he is the guy for 90s mainstream Hollywood films.
And if anything's got his name on it, people will flock to it.
I think that's why he's taken more of a producer role now, because just to give his name to things.
Yeah.
Where he goes like, oh, I've come and watch this. It's got my name on it.
Well, Spielberg's on record for saying that he'll produce something with Paramount or DreamWorks, but if it's not up to scratch, he'll have his name taken off it. And Spielberg produced the Need for Speed film, and his name is nowhere near on the poster or anything.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want my name near there either.
He gets everywhere nowadays, Spielberg. There's actually a Wii game that he produced. It was like produced by Steven Spielberg.
Well, he produced the Medal of Honor, the first ever game. It's for DreamWorks.
But this Wii game was like, I think it's called like Blockbusters. Not Blockbusters, nothing like that. But it's like basically the principle of the game is like throwing blocks at these like little cartoon creatures, like the least Spielberg thing you can imagine.
I don't know, mate. I haven't played on a Wii since Wii Tennis was a thing.
Yeah, well, it was around then. Anyway, that's when it came out.
Okay.
So.
Spielberg's got really. It's a very strange. I think like Spielberg. I've got nothing against me. He's a fairy tale filmmaker.
Yeah.
And I don't really like that. I like the Kubrick harsh way of telling.
Yeah, I do as well. I like the sort of. I'm like a really big fan of Italian neo-realism. I know you're not.
I don't like Italian neo-realism.
I don't know about you, Rob.
It's alright, yeah.
But like, I like it because it sort of suits me.
Yeah.
Everything about it. Like, I know that there's no happy endings in life. Because I'm a miserable bastard.
Yes.
I remember we were in a seminar once and we were talking about social realism. And the lecturer was like, "So who actually likes social realism?" I think I was one of the only people who put my hand up. She was like, "Why do you like it?" I was like, "Yeah, I like the sort of things." And I just went, "Because I'm a miserable bastard." And everyone started laughing. I was like, "Yeah, I'm a cool guy."
Dave. I mean, like, there's a very famous Terry Gilliam quote about Schindler's List, and I know it's a very soft and very difficult issue to like talk about, but obviously Schindler's List is one of those films where it's a feel-good film. At the end, Schindler saves all these Jews. In the harsh reality, billions of people who were Jewish were killed. Yeah.
I think that's the thing about Spielberg. He always starts off
fairy tale.
He always ends it with a happy ending.
Yeah, and I think Terry Gilliam is like, I would love to have seen, because this is a very, not people know this, but Kubrick was in the midst of making a survival Holocaust film before Schindler's List. Yeah. And in 1992, because Spielberg and Kubrick were quite good friends, Spielberg used to get phone calls at 3 a.m. in the morning of Kubrick in London ringing him up about God and stuff. Very bizarre things, but you should watch AI for that because it's really good. But Spielberg filmed it and gave him screened it at his house for him, or at the Warner Brothers lot, but it's by Universal, so it might not be true. But Kubrick, like, who was an amazing director, watched that film and just didn't make the Holocaust film because excuse me, there was no need for it anymore. Yeah. So that's how powerful Schindler's List. But as Terry Gilliam said, it's all about fairy tales with Spielberg. I would have liked to have seen a Kubrick interpretation of that, because that was...
Would you have preferred to have seen a Kubrick interpretation before Schindler's List or after?
Before.
Again, I think before, because I think if you would have remade that after Schindler's List, you would have been like, I prefer Schindler's List, because when you leave a film, you don't want to feel depressed,
I mean, in essence, watching Schindler's List is like, at the end of it, it's like, oh, yes, at least he saved some of them, but it's just... It doesn't leave you with that hard-hitting thing where they were genocidal against a group of people. It's sort of, this might be a bit controversial thing, but I think it not only like is a bit disrespectful to the whole thing of the Holocaust, but puts a happy ending on something that needs to be remembered for its harshness and its reality based. But I mean, Spielberg's a strange director, like Dave said, like he makes really good films, and Rob said, like, he'll make one film that's like, War of the Worlds came out in 2005. Do you know what else film he made in 2005? Munich. If I saw Munich, I wouldn't be able to sell it with Spielberg, but Munich is a underestimated and underrated Spielberg hit. Munich is one in his top 3 films of all time. It's so harsh.
For you, though.
Yeah. It's Munic's such a good film. I think.
Where do you think he'd rate it, though?
It's more of a person. I don't think.
Well, this is a question you asked me. If you re-listen to some of the podcasts, you go, well, where do you think he'd put it? Yeah. Where would you think?
I don't know if he'd rate it very highly. I mean,
but do you honestly think he would rate, I don't know, Crystal Skull that highly?
No.
He wouldn't. I think he'd rate the first.
He's self-aware. He's very self-aware. I don't think he'd rate any Indiana Jones up there.
I think the first one's quite
good. Jaws, E.T. and Schindler's List need to be in his top 3 because there's 3 things he changed. But Munich should be the top one because Munich's one of them films where it's You never get to see the Jewish responses and stuff like that.
Is Munich coming from you because you don't like the sort of heartfelt endings?
I do like heartfelt endings. I think Jaws is a perfect film. But I just think that Munich's one of those films where I think, and this is going to be controversial, I think War of the Worlds is his misstep.
I didn't particularly like War of the Worlds.
I didn't particularly.
I can't remember when I watched it.
I think I might have seen it too many times.
I think I've seen it quite a lot of times, but I can't really.
It's very forgettable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a shame because it
doesn't represent
the
world.
It's a big hitter.
As well.
It's $150 million.
Yeah.
You got Spielberg directing.
Tom Cruise.
You got Tom Cruise in there.
Is it Kristen Stewart? I can't remember. It's not Kristen Stewart, is it?
No, it's
Tom
not.
Cruise doing his classic running.
It's Dakota Fanning plays his daughter.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like it is a film where it should have been a big blockbuster, and I think that it's just one of those films where it's like Dave said, like you watch it, it's like okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't. We won't get to spoiling it, but the ending is ridiculous. I hate how it's like they got ill off a cold. It's a really good. It's a really good idea, but it's not.
Spoilers: his son comes around the corner.
Oh god!
Yeah. At that point, I was like, "No, I'm done. I'm never going to watch this film again."
I think the best aspect of that film is when he's in the bunker with Tim Robbins.
Yeah,
that is 10 Cloverfield Lane for me. That is a film where J. Abrams must have seen it when that's what we need to make. So it's got ideas.
It's very good. Very good.
I haven't seen it yet. Odeon had a 50% off thing, so I was going to go watch it, but I couldn't make it in time.
Yeah, it's very good.
Either
way, so these are two remakes that we've spoken about, which are both kind of controversially viewed in the public eye.
But
then we look at Ocean's 11, and it breaks that kind of old Hollywood rule.
Before we get into that, 4th week in a row I've won.
Yeah, but I think there's something up with that. So.
4 more years. 4 more years. Once I won this poll, I think I was with you when the results finally came in.
Yeah.
And like the look he just gave me, he was like, "What have you done?" He thinks I'm fixing the polls.
I think he is because honestly,
let's be honest though. Out of King Kong, War of the Worlds, and Ocean's 11, which film out of all 3 of those relates to more people? Which film do you think out of all of those people actually want to watch? It's not going to be War of the Worlds.
Ocean's 11.
It's not going to be War of the Worlds. Yeah. King Kong is like.
Everyone's
25%, 70. Yeah, but everyone's seen Ocean's 11.
I don't think they have. I disagree with that.
That's already
swinging round to that.
Seen it.
Swinging round to that. Rob, this is the first time you've watched it. Jack,
I've seen this. I've seen all of them quite a few times.
I've seen all of them a few times as well, and
it is the best one out of the trilogy as well. It's a really good film.
I think it goes 11, 13, 12. 12
is the word. I don't even know.
12. I think 12. They literally was just like, right, we need to make another one.
Yeah, I watched 12 on DVD, and I was watching. I don't know what it's
about. It's like I know what we'll do is we'll get a rival, and he'll have to steal the same thing. But it just seems a bit. Then I think they realised what they did with the 12th one, and then the 3rd one they went back. The 13th one, sorry, Ocean's 13. They went back to sort of the original, but they made it bigger.
Yeah.
They made it sort of like a revenge plot because the guy, I can't remember what his name is. The guy that was outside. No, the guy that was in Friends is Ross's dad. I can't remember what his name is. The old guy.
I know. It's I know who you're on about. It's
yeah,
Elliot
but
Gold,
he like gets messed over by the other guy. Mate. We're not talking about Ocean's 13. We're talking about Ocean's 11.
It's interesting with trilogies how sometimes they'll bring it back in the 3rd one because that happened with Men in Black as well.
I didn't like Men in Black. You like Elliot Gold? That's what his name.
Elliot Gold, yeah.
Well,
but the first one, the Ocean's 11, I think is quite good.
It's a good film. It's a nice caper, isn't it? It's just easy to watch.
It's easy to watch.
Definitely, yeah.
This is probably one of those films where you could leave to go to the toilet, come back, and Brad Pitt and George Clooney would probably still be talking in a hotel room.
Yeah, and then Brad Pitt would be eating something so he didn't stop. So
you notice how much he eats in that
because he's trying to stop smoking.
Oh yeah,
because he was getting big and buff for Troy, I believe. Have you seen any? So the director of Ocean's 11, 12, and 13 is Steven Soderbergh. Have you seen any of his filmography? Because he's a very strange.
I probably
director.
have, but he's probably not
seen Out of Sight.
Out of Sight. I don't think his name isn't one that won't clear my mind as the director of this.
Yeah,
I think anyone could have directed this.
Yeah.
But
this is the second film of his I've seen. So I've seen Ocean's 11 and I've seen Out of Sight.
So I've seen quite a few of his. I've seen Contagion's is a good film about
I'd stay
a
away
disease.
from that sort of thing.
Why?
I stay away from horrors.
It's not horror. It's like a thriller. That's when like an infection comes.
It strikes me that all his films are quite similar in their kind of like that kind of style. Anyway,
he actually is a really good editor.
Yeah,
and what he does is if films get a really bad rep, he goes in and re-edits them for himself.
Okay.
There's a film that he did. I think he re-edited like a really famous film that got really badly reviewed. But anyway, he's just a very strange director. Like Dave said, he's a big director, but he's not the top. I mean, he retired a few years ago and then came back. He did the cinematography for Magic Mike, and then did his camera assistant for the second one or something.
Yeah, the original one anyway.
I haven't seen Magic Mike. Is that one with Matthew McConaughey in it?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, well, I
think
Steven Soderbergh, his kind of style, like you're saying about his editing as well. What I really like about him is his choice of music and like jazzy uses and stuff like that. And especially now at Sight, I remember there's some really good kind of tracks in that. I always after watching Ocean's 11, I kind of thought, who would I compare him to in the film industry? And he always strikes me as like an American kind of Guy Ritchie. In that kind of it's a bit. It reminded Ocean's 11. It reminded me quite a lot of Snatch in its kind of editing style and how it pieced together.
I'm not too sure about that. I think there's some elements that you could compare to Guy Ritchie. The fact that it's like a heist film with a big crew and stuff, but I think
guys fast cut together.
I think he reminds me of a 60s Bond director. He's slow. He likes it, moves at pace. I think he's good. If you look, I think Soderbergh could probably make a really good Bond film. Reminds me of Sam Mendes, British Sam. He's American Sam Mendes to me.
Right.
He's
I'll give you that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
But this has got quite a big cast. I mean, he's quite a big.
It's quite a A-star test.
Yeah. Well, have you guys seen the original Ocean's 11, the Frank Sinatra film?
I think so. I think I watched it in college.
It's basically some on the same lines, but the ending is different.
Isn't the ending really good in the first one?
Yeah, so the ending of the first one, spoilers, but you should have seen it. Is that they take they've got all this cash in a coffin at the church, so when they bury it, they can come back and dig it up and get the money out. But while they're there, the villain puts it makes so the ceremony is so they burn it, the coffin into what is it, for ashes, and they burn it in front of their eyes, and they all just sat there. And then obviously it was meant to make another one, but they just never got never made.
I think they made the Ocean's 11 ending, so then they could make another one. The way he comes out, yes. I think if I remember this right, he comes out of prison, gets in the car with his Julia Roberts.
Yeah, and they go off into sunset.
Yeah, they made that.
But Andy Garcia follows them.
Yeah. That is the perfect sort of open loop thing. And then the start of the second one is everyone sort of spending their money. George Clooney and Julia Roberts are living a suburban life.
Yeah.
And then Andy Garcia comes in and hunts them all down and says, I want you to steal this and then I can get my money back.
Yeah.
Actually, no, he says, I want my money back, and then they have to go around stealing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, the first film, the original film has got, Frank Sinatra plays George Clooney, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr.
It's a good cast.
Cesar Romero, who played the Joker in the Batman TV series, he's in it. I mean, Richard Conte is in it. It's got one hell of a cast. Do you think that this cast is a level of that? Do you think it could have been better?
When you look back at that cast, though, it's like you say, hindsight's a wonderful thing.
No, but that's like 1960 something. Like they're all around since the 50s.
I think we can't really notice that. That we can't really say that that's a good film until we watch a good cast until we wait a couple more years to see what these guys are like. Brad Pitt's made some awful films.
Yeah, but he's made some good films as well.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith,
I like
awful.
That film.
But George Clooney's made some good films. Also made some awful films.
Yeah.
Exactly.
George Clooney plays George Clooney.
Frank Sinatra is a musical genius, and him coming into an acting role was good. And we all like Frank Sinatra.
Sinatra made some horse shit.
Yeah, I know, but we think of him more as. But when you think of Brad Pitt and George Clooney, do you think of his good stuff or do you think of his bad stuff? So I personally think of their bad stuff.
I mean, Brad Pitt's is on the borderline, but I don't think Clooney's made a really good film. Clooney's like director, like Ides of March he directed. He's directed quite a few films. Monuments Men I don't rate. Really
Burn After Reading, I watched that, didn't
Coen
like
Brothers,
it at all.
I think it's really funny, Burn After Reading. It's a Coen Brothers film that they shouldn't have made.
Yeah.
I think of Brad Pitt, I do think of his better films, because I don't think I've seen enough of his bad films.
What would you consider Brad Pitt's best film to be then?
Fight Club.
Oh shit, no, I'd say 7.
Okay, yeah.
I think his emotional range in 7's really good.
I think 7, because he's more of a character in 7, where he's just sort of I don't know. Really
he's a very stereotype like maniac in Fight Club. He plays it well.
Yeah, he plays it well. Don't get me wrong, but you could imagine Brad Pitt being like that.
So, what do you think? Brad Pitt's one of the Brad Pitt. I wouldn't say you can't automatically pick a worse film because it's shit. You got to pick a film that it was meant to be. People think it's quite good, or people think it's part of that. It's like just a mixed film.
A mixed film.
Yeah,
I think. What was he? It was a mixed film, wasn't it? Very, very mixed.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's his
I still
worst.
haven't seen World War Z. I don't like zombies.
It's weird because it's based on a book which was very critically received, and then they called it
really well received.
Really well. But basically, why the book was so successful was because it wasn't about one character; it was about all these different characters in different situations across the city in this apocalypse.
Aren't they making a second one?
They're making a second one, yeah.
Well, the interesting thing about World War Z is that they made the film and then they put it into the edit, and the studio didn't like the ending. So they hired Robert, I think it's Ortiz or something, the writers for Star Trek, and his writing partner.
Yeah.
And they said, "What would you do?" And he said, "I wouldn't even make the ending." And they said, "Okay, how would we do that?" And he thought they were joking. So they spent 150 million more making the second and third act. So in the film, Matthew Fox, who's the main character in Lost, plays one of the American soldiers who helps them escape from the bigger building towards the first act. He is supposed to be the villain in the end, and he's supposed to fight in Russia, but all that was cut to make a new one, so he's just cut out of it. So they made, that film is the highest film.
I think a lot of people hated World War Z though, because
it doesn't make much sense towards the end anyway.
People hated it because they read the books and I remember reading a forum about it. People hated it because they didn't include most of the things in the books.
Yeah.
But people sort of forgave it when they announced they're going to make another one.
Well, they have to do it for money reasons anyway, because the studio at Paramount is in deep shit, because Transformers isn't making if they make another one, it'll get them out of it, but Paramount makes some very strange films at the moment, so they need to get some big... Paramount is a very strange studio, because you look at there, they've done Indiana Jones, they've done, The Godfather, and then they've got the big franchises like Transformers, but they don't make them small films anymore. Like Pain and Gain was the last one I think I've seen for a while.
Pain and Gain
Hercules was shit. Yeah. Well, they only financed Pain and Gain if Michael Bay did Transformers 5. It's the same way... if anyone who's seen the new Star Wars film and then something happens to a main character, the only reason why he made that film is because he could get the rights to Indiana Jones back. Same with Vin Diesel, he cameoed in Tokyo Drift. So
it just feels like, by the way, that a certain actor is going around killing all his old things.
What do you mean?
Like a certain actor that, if you've seen the new Star Wars, a certain thing happens to him.
Yeah.
It feels like he's going to go around and kill all the rest of his characters, so then he can't make another one. Because he said that he would do that film because he wanted an ending for the character.
Yeah, he said that in Return of the Jedi, though. Bear in mind, an actor doesn't want to be remembered for one role, does it? Because it just takes away from the whole
you
point
wouldn't say he would be remembered for one role,
I think he's... if you saw him, I would say it's Han Solo and Indiana Jones.
I'd say President of the United States of America.
No.
Air Force One.
Yeah, it's a good film, but I wouldn't...
Get off my plane!
It's like Al Pacino. Who's Al Pacino to you, MacLeod? Who's it to you?
We'll say because I haven't seen enough.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got two roles that are quite different, but quite similar. It's the same with Harrison Ford. I mean, like, it's weird because, like, in this film, you've got Clooney, who's, I think is a big hitter then. Brad Pitt, who was a big hitter. Julia Roberts, who I think...
She's cameos in it, I'd say. I wouldn't say she's a character.
She's got a prominent role in this, Julia Roberts.
Yeah,
I think she is. She has.
She is very integral to the plot. Like, I don't think the film would have worked without her.
After this film, she became a $20 million actress.
Jesus, yeah.
And I think he gave her $20 to act. Matt Damon's in it, but Matt Damon's role was written for Matt Wahlberg, interestingly enough.
Okay, yeah, I can see Matt Wahlberg in that. Yeah.
Bernie Mac, Casey Affleck, Scott Caan. Scott Caan is James Caan's son, who was Sonny Corleone in Godfather. Yeah. And then you've got Carl Rayner. So it's got like
it's got a big cast.
Vladimir Klitschko's in this film, as well. Plays the boxer. Andy Garcia as well. Like, it's just a very strange film. Like, I do like it, but I mean, it's got a load of cameos from the original cast. I'm just looking through the cast list now. But I mean, when you see this, like, they tried to make it. He was going to make it in black and white. The studio, I think it's... Who's the studio? I think it's Warner Brothers.
I would have said Warner Brothers or MGM.
I don't think it's MGM. I think it's Warner Brothers. And they said if you make it in black and white, you have to cut like 20 million off the budget, and he refused to do it, which is ridiculous because how are you meant to do that?
Saying that though, I guess black and white does corner the market a bit, in that, like.
Well, I think they wanted to make it. They wanted to make it black and white because the original was black and white.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense, but like black and white films, there's a lot of kind of people who, as like mainstream audiences, who.
I quite like black and white films.
Yeah, mainstream audiences.
I think it
wouldn't
depends on
know.
the film. Lahane is perfect in black and white. I couldn't see that in colour. Citizen Kane is perfect in black and white. Batman Begins, black and white.
But a lot of people wouldn't watch black and white.
Yeah, but no, that's
you're
different films to the films you've mentioned. Batman Begins is built on action, sort of going around doing stuff.
How about this then? The Great Gatsby, the remake. Baz
I
Luhrmann.
I could watch that in black and white.
I've never seen Baz
I think it depends too much on colour. I don't think you can watch The Prestige in black and white. Again, it makes
The Prestige could be... isn't some of it in black and white?
No.
It's just a very... That's the kind of palette is very black and...
But when you look at a film, because you can make films in black and white, but there's some films that you can't make in black. I think Batman Begins could work in some parts in black and white.
I think Layer Cake would have been a good film in black and white.
Right.
Yeah. Because there's not that much action in it.
Yeah, I think Casino Royale, the first one.
It's got some part. The intros.
I really like the intro. I mean, Van Helsing's could.
I think they could have made Casino Royale. They could have made it all in black and white.
I think it's
no, because I think the Madagascar sequence is excellent on Blu-ray. The film's amazing.
The whole black and white thing, though, it's very difficult with studios because studios are always going to look at profit. They're never going to look at what's going to work for the film, what's going to not work.
Yeah, that's the horrible part about being a filmmaker these days. It's all about the money, money, money.
Interesting story is that when I first watched Van Helsing with me and my dad, we got a DVD of it, and it came up in black and white, and we watched like the first 15 minutes in black and white, and me and my dad thought the Blu-ray and the DVD was broken. We literally thought the television was knackered, and we're like, I'm watching this shit. And it just turned out it was in fucking black and white for 15 minutes.
What's that film called? Where it starts off black and white and gets slow. Oh no, I think it's the opposite way around. Is it Mood? Have you seen Mood Indigo?
No, I haven't seen Mood Indigo.
I think it basically starts off all in colour and it slowly gets more. It slowly goes black and white towards the end, like throughout the film.
Yeah,
and it's basically kind of trying to represent like the change in mood as the film goes and gets more depressing and stuff. But that's a really strange film which we could do in a future podcast.
I mean, like, so how would you consider? Would you consider Psycho if they coloured that? Would you still find
no?
That
it has to be black and white. Well, I don't know. I think if they did some elements where the blood comes out and it's red.
Well, like the Schindler's List where the girl's in the red.
That would have been.
I like that.
I think aspects of colour to that film would have been
like Sin City.
Yeah.
Thing, that'd be quite cool.
I wouldn't like automatically go to Sin City.
I think the Sin City is a really good idea of how to use colour in a film. I mean, like it's strange because it's the same sort of reasoning. Like if you use black and white, you can still get the same sort of.
It makes the colours mean more things, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like,
and then if you have colour in it,
yeah. Because Blondie as a character, if she was just black and white and the only colour you saw in the entire film other than black and white was red, then that she wouldn't mean anything as a like anything near as much as she does in the character.
Yeah.
But by kind of colorizing her hair and kind of saying that she's Blondie and that's who she is, it kind of makes him more of a character. It makes him more of a kind of staple to the film.
Yeah, really. I mean, after seeing this, do you? In honest, don't say this as a fan. Say this as a critic. Would you truthfully have made sequels?
I wouldn't have made a 12. I would have made 13.
But
I would have made a 13 like a 12.
You couldn't have made the 13 without the 12, though.
Yeah, but I would have made 12 like 13 and 11. Because 11 and 13 are very similar.
I wouldn't have... I agree with you to some
I think I would have got rid of 12 and made it just Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12.
Yeah,
but then I wouldn't have made it Ocean's 12.
I wouldn't have made a 13. I wouldn't have made a 3. Definitely not.
I haven't seen the other two, so I couldn't really make a judgment call on it.
The second one's bad. Well, not bad, but it's average.
Bad.
The third one is...
I don't know how to explain the plot. I really don't.
I do. I got this.
I think it's shit. I don't even want to listen to it.
Okay, that's what we're going to do it. But, I think there is a lot of aspects of Ocean's 11 that I did enjoy.
I love the
part.
Yeah.
I love the part where, because I remade it for a college project.
Oh,
where he goes, Ruben, he goes, he goes, he's like, that's impossible, no, they go to leave, and he goes like, who have you got in mind? And then they go through their crew.
Yeah.
That part is really good. I remade that for a college project.
That's kind of thing reminded me of Snatch, where it's kind of like the preparation part of the
I'll give you that, yeah.
That's what kind of reminded me
I think the intros of all those characters are good as well. Monster Truck, where they're racing monster trucks. I think that's really good. I think that shows the sort of comedy from those characters as well.
It explains their characters as well, because it's competitiveness, whereas one's kind of like uses his kind of strength and he's kind of like this big horsey kind of guy. One of them's kind of mechanical and kind of a bit more devious, but...
The Don Cheadle intro as well.
Do you know he's really good in this film?
Isn't he?
Because
he didn't do that much in it though.
He's a big hitter in this film. He is. He wanted to be on the top 5 builds, and the studio refused. So he just said, I don't want to get paid then if I'm not going to do it. So he did it for free.
That's pretty admirable.
And then in the second one, I think that they put him on the top build, and the third one they do. Yeah. But this one he's uncredited.
Is he English or South African?
Don Cheadle.
In this film.
He's
English. It's Cockney's. It's awful.
Yeah, because like there's a scene.
Guys, it's good to be working with professionals again.
There's a
real thieves.
There's a scene where he says something, and obviously it's meant to be that Americans can't understand what he's saying because it's like English slang.
Yeah,
I didn't understand what he's saying.
That's where he goes
talking absolutely.
Yeah, no, I knew what he was saying. He's like, it's Bobby, like saying because something broke, didn't he? And he was like telling him. He was like, what? I really did like the Don Cheadle thing.
I think it works because like it's so ridiculous. It's funny. Like if it took, the film doesn't take itself. So if it took itself so serious, it wouldn't. If that was in a Scorsese film, it wouldn't work. Because here, and it's like a kind prayer, it really does work. I think it's a really good aspect. It got slated, but I don't think you should slate it. I think it's a really good idea. I think it's quite fun.
I like the part with the old guy as well. You know, where he's at the horse. No, he's at the horse track. Brad Pitt or George Clooney goes to meet him, and he's there like, "No, I'm not doing it. I'm out." And he just gives him a bit of paper, and then it zooms out. And he's just there, and he opens it, and he just goes, "Oh God!" and he grabs his heart.
Yeah,
I think that's really good.
That's Carl Reiner, isn't it?
I think it says a lot about the film, and it has this many kind of cliches of like what this kind of film would usually have, and it can still be like seriously enjoyable, and you can just kind of
I think there is a lot of cliches, but I think it works.
Yeah, it definitely does. Like one massive cliche, definitely was the whole. And it did it quite a few times throughout the film when they're kind of getting people into the heist. It's kind of going to them and saying. We've got this job, and the guy's like, it's impossible, you're not going to do it. And then like 2 seconds later, they say one line, and it's like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, I think
there's a lot of that. Like,
so I think in this film that is very represented quite well is that money will get you anything.
Yeah.
That old guy is refusing. Carl Reiner, he's refusing to do it. He's like, I'm retired now. I'm with my wife. I don't want to do it. He gives him a bit of paper. Yeah. And suddenly he's about to have a heart attack.
That's why I really love the ending. Is like when they're at the fountain and it's all good, and they walk off one by one. Like the director said, as long as Brad Pitt was meant to stay last, but just go freely, and all the characters just walk off. Like it's not meant to be. It's not scripted. They just walk off and it feels right. I love that. I think
that's a good aspect.
It's a really nice. I think the cast work so well together. Like when it comes together at the end, it is quite like a. I can understand why people would have wanted more, but I just think that sometimes lust and greed is too much. Like it is a really good film about money, and I think it's another thing where it's the context of it is it's a staple for the franchise, and money can get you everything. Yeah. If you make money on this film, they'll make more.
I think the recruitment scene as well reminds me quite a lot of the Armageddon scene.
Yeah,
where they go around getting them. I think that's very similar to it. I think Armageddon did it quite well. But I think I prefer the Ocean's 11 one. The Armageddon one was more of a big hitter where like bears on a motorcycle and like helicopters are following him, and it's like just pull over. We want to talk to you. He's like, you're gonna have to catch me. But like, I can't like the three that I've mentioned. The two guys, Don Cheadle, Carl Reiner. The rest of them, not really got that good of an intro. I think Matt Damon's one is okay, but it just. Where he steals his wallet and then he goes to have a look at it and he stole it back.
Yeah.
It kind of suggested to me he was going to be a bigger character than he was, because it's like they saved him for last. He's kind of one of the bigger names in the cast, and then he kind of.
Well, Matt Damon really wasn't a big. It wasn't a major star then.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
because he just done that year he did Born Identity, but before then he was known as he'd done Rounders. Mr. Ripley was 2 years before.
Yeah.
His character as they go on to the films are really poor.
Yeah.
Like it just relies on his family, because like in the 13th one, you haven't seen it obviously, but I think in his the third one, it's like a big twist at the end. I won't spoil it, but like it all revolves around who he is.
Yeah.
And like the only reason he's there is because his dad rang up and was like, "Yeah, can I get him a job and stuff like that with you?" It just seems a bit.
It did strike me that his character is basically just he knows everything and he's keen.
Well, he's that inexperienced, isn't he? The rest of them are all like. Because they've all done it before together, but he's like the new guy, so it would have been Ocean's 10.
I mean, it's a shame they didn't do this later on in their careers, like obviously the Sinatras did, because I think the scene where like Danny Ocean, like George Clooney, is getting pretendedly being up by that big, bald-headed,
first of all,
person.
There's a wrestler called Luke Gallows. He looks
there we go.
It's
Rob's Wrestler Corner.
He looks exactly like that guy. He looks exactly like this.
I just like it's just a really nice scene where it's like. George Clooney just shows he's got this little bit comedic element. It's a shame it didn't come later on, because if I was George Clooney, I would love to be remembered for Ocean's 11 because it is an easy. I don't think there's not one aspect of Ocean's 11 this film where it is a safe film. At times, it's like they could have done this, could have done that, but overall, I think this is a film that you can just show to any audience and they can sit down and watch it. What audience? Yeah. It's not aggressive. It's not offensive in any sort of way.
Very little swearing, if any
if at all. I think it's a 12.
There's no like. I'd say the target market for this is probably 15 to 50.
It's kind of like a kind of starter pack for getting into like other films like.
I showed my mate this when I went home for Christmas, and he quite enjoyed it. We actually watched every single one in a row. He didn't like 12 either.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's because 12 isn't as good. It's because it's not a casino heist, and they sort of play on how the fact that they all look like other actors, like
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis in there, and they go because they say, you kind of look like. And it's like, no, she doesn't. It's like, she kind of does. And it's like, she kind of looks like Julia Roberts. Because she is Julia Roberts.
It's quite self-aware, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because this one's quite self-aware of the comedy value. Like, it's, we're going to go for a laugh. Like, don't take it seriously. That one goes so far. It's like, almost breaks a fourth wall. If it does, actually.
I don't understand why you do that, actually, because I haven't seen that. Like, but
I think you should watch it. Because I don't think you'd like it.
If you're making a franchise... And then the first film you set certain rules, and then the second film you completely break all those rules, and then decide, okay, we're going to be self-aware.
Well, that's what Matrix Reloaded did.
I haven't seen Matrix Reloaded, because I didn't like the first one.
Well, do you know when Brad Pitt is disguised and he wears that blonde wig?
Yeah.
Do you know that's the Austin Powers prop wig?
Is it?
Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
Yeah. It's just like little things like that. Like they must have had. It's a film where you watch it and you have fun, and you know they had fun making it. Obviously, except for the Don Cheadle thing. I think it's a really fun film.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Like it. Let's, should we talk about negatives?
Yeah.
Because I could maybe think of a couple negatives. I think let's go to the first person who hasn't watched this film before. Well, because obviously I've seen it a couple of times.
I've seen it about
with my dad.
2-3 times.
I enjoyed it, but I don't think I'd watch it again.
Like, really? I could watch this any time.
But I guess it's not my kind of film. Like, it's not something I usually sworn to. But like, it's just, for me, it was just a standard heist film, and that was it.
Do you not think it had a really good personality in it though?
I think I
think there was definitely personality to it, but I think there's like better heist films out there.
I disagree. I agree with Dave. I think that if you put this on now, I could sit all the way through and watch it in one go. It's just fun. It's just, unfortunately, they don't make many films like it. It's just fun, isn't it? It's just one of them films where you can leave your brain at the door and you can still enjoy it.
To be fair, if it was on and someone else was watching it, I could sit down and watch it with them.
Would you watch this or Predator?
But I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it.
Would you watch this or Predator?
If I had to choose between Predator or watching this, I'd probably watch this.
Oh God, my heart.
I'd probably agree with you.
Oh no!
I really do enjoy this film. I think it's really fun. It's a shame. Is it a shame how that they didn't get to make the second and third one to the value of this one? This one's rated quite high.
I think the third one's quite good.
It's good, but it's a bit. I think it just comes to a point where it's slowly there.
I think it's a solid 7.5 out of 10.
This is rated 8 out of 10. This 7.8 on IMDb.
I think we can't really talk about it. You can't judge Ocean's 11 on a trilogy though, because we're not judging it on the trilogy.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. I think if you look at it as a standalone film, Rob hasn't seen any of the other two.
Yeah.
It does work.
That's what I'm thinking. That's why I can't, especially since you said about this fourth wall thing.
Yeah.
That's why I can't actually see it going any further, because I just see it as a standard heist film where
the second one is bad. I would not suggest. I'd suggest Ocean's 11.
It's Attack of the Clones in a trilogy.
Yeah.
Okay. It really is.
Well, yeah.
So you've seen it 3 or 4 times there. Yeah. I wonder if we've got any similar negatives.
Well, why don't you start? You can get negative, I'll go negative.
You chose it.
Nah, I don't want it. Yeah, I chose it, mate.
Negatives, right.
I'm the team leader, you choose.
I don't like I don't think that the relationship dynamic between Julia Roberts and George Clooney is anywhere unbelievable. But I think it's boring, because them two would get together. I think it's
a lot more with it.
Yeah, because you can tell they're friends in real life, and I think that, the whole Andy Garcia thing, it's like, Did anyone not think that she was not going to get with Danny?
Yeah, it's the problem, isn't it? It's quite predictable, and I don't really like romantic subplots in films. I just find them that they stretch out the plot a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Apart from love films, but I just don't see the point of putting a romantic subplot in it. I mean, she was like there, so then I don't know. It just seems like they had to do more to get her to go with George Clooney, like there's a bug him and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the best aspect would have been that if she would have ended up with Danny Ocean, but she would have just said, "Don't steal the money, just take. I just want to be with you, and we can go together." And he would have realised then that money isn't everything. It's what you want in life.
Yeah, no, but they were planning on making sequels. If this was a standalone film, maybe they would have done that.
So I think in that aspect, I think it's self-aware of what it was doing. So you can't really judge it on that. But like I said, I just think that I don't. This might be controversial. I don't really like Julia Roberts.
I don't really like Julia Roberts either.
She's good in Erin Brockovich.
She didn't offer too much in this character. Like the character doesn't have much to her either. It's basically just, oh, you lied to me, I'm going to marry this guy instead. And then he comes back to it, and that's it.
It's all a bit squabbly, isn't it? It's all a bit like...
It's all a bit just...
It's just all spiteful, and sometimes I don't like it, especially when they portray women like that, because Julia Roberts can surely, hold her own in this film.
She probably could have robbed the bank herself.
Yeah, and she could have had a little bit more to do with it.
It just feels like she was around to be courted by Danny Ocean.
Yeah, she was there to be courted.
She was like the middleman.
Yeah, to make some sort of like...
To get one over
humanised.
To get one over on the billionaire as well. Like.
I mean, what else do you like then? Because that's one aspect I don't like.
I think it's quite convoluted, but like this is both a good thing in a way, but a bad thing as well, because like
that's what heist.
That's
sort of like though. They've got to be convoluted.
There's a lot of heist films are convoluted, but at the same time you can make it convoluted, but then make sense at the same time as well. And there's a lot of things in there which are like, really, did you need to do that as well as this?
There's always an aspect in a heist film where they won't show you, but at the end it's revealed, and it's like. Okay.
I quite like that.
There's only so many twists you can have.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, have you guys ever seen the English TV show Hustle?
Yeah,
God, what's that on my finger? I like it.
I think the first two seasons were good, but it's shit. It's shit.
Really?
Yeah, it was canned by the BBC. It's shit.
I really did like it. I really loved it. I think it was good. Like every episode had a twist. And
the old guy in it's the last surviving member of the Magnificent Seven.
Albert.
Yeah.
Albie.
Shit. That's what it is.
What did you think of George Clooney?
I like him.
I like George Clooney. Yeah.
But then again, do you like the actor? Or do you
like the character. The character's better.
It is George Clooney playing that character.
Yeah,
it is.
It's the charm of him, isn't it?
It's not Danny Ocean. It's George Clooney. It's Brad Pitt, isn't it? It is. The only one who I like there is Andy Garcia because he feels like this horrible maniac. But Brad Pitt plays Brad Pitt. George Clooney plays George Clooney, and Julia Roberts plays Julia Roberts.
Matt Damon doesn't play Matt Damon though.
Yeah, I know.
No, he doesn't.
I know. I like that.
He doesn't.
Scott Caan doesn't play Scott Caan, and Casey Affleck doesn't play Casey Affleck.
Don Cheadle doesn't play Don Cheadle.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello.
But then three main characters we mentioned who play them best are the big hitters of the film.
I struggled to recognise Casey Affleck at first as well.
Did you?
He's quite transformative. Because obviously the last film I watched him in was Gone Baby Gone.
I don't think he looks very much different.
I just it took me a couple of seconds.
6 years between them two films.
Yeah. So.
I think
not long, that is it? 6 years.
Me actually, yeah. But the reason I said about George Clooney, because what do you think about him? If he was English, do you reckon he could be a Bond?
No.
No, really?
Not now.
Not in this current Bond environment.
I'll give you this.
A classic Bond, I think he could be.
If he was an Englishman, right, he would be the Sean Connery of an English actor.
Yeah.
He'd play one role, like he does in every other film.
But he plays it well.
And he plays it well.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think he could definitely play James Bond because he's got a charm to him.
Yeah.
But he's also like big criticism of Daniel Craig as Bond.
He's got no personality.
Not only that, but it's like
I think his Bond's got personality.
He's good at his Bond, but the kind of original kind of Bond is like this kind of baby-faced kind of assassin kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's.
No, I think he looks rough as arsehole.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig looks like someone who could beat
the George Clooney thing. Yeah.
But then George Clooney looks like someone
Daniel
could
Craig.
charm you.
I can't believe he said Daniel Craig's like personality as James Bond. In Casino Royale, when the Swiss banker comes and he comes for the money and he's like, "Oh, I thought you'd bring chocolates," and that guy makes an awful laugh, and Daniel Craig just goes like that, like, "Oh wow!" That's really funny.
That's one part of the film. The rest of the film, he's like Heineken.
All my friends call me Dominic Green. I'm sure they do. It's funny. It's a bit. He's got personality. He hasn't got the quips like Roger Moore did, but they're not going.
Roger Moore. He's got enough about him.
50
million, yes.
He's got enough about him to offer
that. That was Sean Connery.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
He's got enough about him to offer that, but I think he doesn't see the classical Bond that a lot of people.
He just. I think Clooney would have been the classic Bond. He wouldn't.
I think Brad Pitt could play the Daniel Craig type player.
No, if he was Daniel Craig one, yeah.
No, he couldn't.
I think he could. If he was English.
I love Brad Pitt's laugh in this film, though. Brad Pitt's laugh's so funny.
As I said did we say this in the previous podcast about Brad Pitt? He can't do an English accent. That's when he gets rolled with Snatch.
No.
Could do a Cockney's accent.
No. I speak to the casting director, guys.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know everything. I can't reveal it because
yeah, because you don't fucking know it.
No,
we've sworn quite a few times in this podcast. My mum.
I don't think we've sworn that much.
I have. I think
Well,
I've
you
sworn
have.
too many times.
But then mum and dad are watching.
And again, like in this film, like Rob said, they don't swear very much. Don't like that.
Oh, you brought it back.
You don't
I like that.
Oh,
is that a negative then? You don't like it because they don't swear enough?
No, I think it's a positive because I think sometimes like you watch films and if you just take a step back and you just watch them shout at each other, and as much as people do swear in real life, but and to the extent that a lot of people use F words in quite a few sentences. A few words in a sentence. Here, I don't think it's needed.
It's quite funny actually because the last film I watched was The Last Detail, and that is notorious for how many swears is in that film.
Yes, the Jack Nicholson film.
Yeah, they're all sailors, and originally it nearly didn't get released because there were so many swears in the screenplay.
Because they were going to release it in 1970, but then after The Godfather came out and all the violence, the censors went for more violent films rather than swearing.
It's a very good film. Very good film.
Rob Ashley,
Randy Quaid.
God, he's a nutter, mate.
He's brilliant in the film though.
He's still a nutter.
Yeah, but his character in the film.
He's somewhere in a motel in Canada with his wife trying to track the Illuminati.
Yeah, but either way, his character in that film is a complete nutter. But we're not talking about last.
So what about now then? So this is going to be the ultimate question. You have to cast.
One sec. I'm just going to get myself ready.
But it's 2001. We can still have the same cast.
Okay, I'm ready.
You've got to cast it now with the heavy hitters we've got now.
Heavy hitters we've got now.
Yeah, but you can't cast anyone else in the film that's already in it.
Give us a list of characters.
Right. So Andy Garcia, Idris Elba, straight away plays a villain. He could do such a good job there.
Okay.
Because he hasn't got the charm to play Danny Ocean. He hasn't got the charm to play Brad Pitt's character, and he sure to God can't play Julia Roberts' character.
I'm going to say J.K. Simmons for the guy who's... What's his name? The guy who's... They go and see who says, impossible, you can't do it.
I don't think about that.
Carl Rayner? No, he's not old enough.
I'm going to need pictures of this casino!
Yeah.
And Spider-Man! I love J.K. Simmons, don't get me wrong, but
that range there was very, very, very loud, wasn't it?
He's been practicing that.
He only practiced... As soon as I see J.K. Simmons in a film, I just imagine him with a mustache playing that guy. And I just recently rented Whiplash. I haven't seen it yet.
I bought it on Blu-ray.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to watch it. I've got it on Blu-ray.
You've never seen it?
I've never seen it. I'm going to go. I just imagine he's going to go into that room and be like, I need pictures of these drums!
You see, that's a positive and negative, that actor, because as much as I love that film, and he is good in it, he does play that J.K. Simmons character, but he plays it to a standard that is terrific.
You can turn it to 12, you can turn it down to 8. That's good at, I think.
He's going to be in the new King Kong film, and they're going to make a Godzilla King Kong crossover. Did you know that?
Sorry?
They're going to make a King Kong film called Skull Island. And they're going to make a Godzilla, the Gareth Edwards film, and the King Kong's.
And then Jaws is going to come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Spielberg's
Jaws is not
big.
big. It's Megalon. It's a Megalon that's quite big.
He's playing Commissioner Gordon as well, isn't he?
Yeah, that's a very because
I need pictures
David
of Batman.
Morse was going to play that character, but they cut him out in Batman vs Superman.
Get me pictures of Superman.
Who would you cast as Julia Roberts?
Julia Roberts.
Well,
what with the heavy hitters we have now?
Margaret Robbie.
As I was saying earlier, though.
No.
Yeah. As I was saying earlier, though, she doesn't how much of a character she actually got. Like, I think you put anyone in that role, really.
No, you got to play a big. You're the same. She was a $20 million actress at that point. The only one at that point. I think that Margaret Robbie would play that character really well.
No.
Come on then, who do you reckon would play that character?
I don't know. I've got a couple of names going around in my head.
Come on then, we haven't got all bloody day.
We have.
No, honestly, we don't.
Emma Watson.
No, she's way too young.
No, she's not, mate. She's about like 25 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you're going to cast her against an old dog like Danny Ocean.
Yeah, but Danny. Yeah, but you. Okay, fine. Give me a minute, then. Rob. Go. You go.
I'm saying Margaret Robbie.
I'm gonna go with.
I love how no one has said that Idris Elba wasn't the bad casting, so I will take that.
Yeah, you know how much I love Idris Elba.
That's why I said it. Anyway.
Yeah, so you want me to automatically agree with you? I don't agree that
Emily Blunt.
I don't agree that
that
Idris Elba doesn't have the charm to play. I don't think he has the charm to play Danny Ocean. I think he could play a Brad Pitt character though.
No, because
Brad
Pitt is the one that's like.
Have you ever seen Luther?
No.
Go and watch Luther, then say you can't play Brad Pitt.
I don't think he could play either. That's why I don't think he could play.
I don't think he can play that good. But no, he could.
No, he couldn't. He doesn't have the quips.
He does.
That's why Daniel Craig comes short because he doesn't have the quips. He has personality but no quips. That's why I think Michael Fassbender would play James Bond better.
Oh, no.
And I'm right about that.
I think Idris Elba would be better.
No, I wouldn't. He wouldn't. What are you doing? You fucking
I'm
searching.
googling what.
You're googling female actors.
I can't remember her name.
Sick.
So let's go for Brad Pitt's character then. Comedic thing.
Comedic.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
No.
Yeah.
She's nowhere near the firepower that we're on about with these women. You're on about firepower. That's right. I'll cast my sister as her then.
No.
Yeah, I'll cast me as Danny Ocean.
But realistically,
she is not a heavy hitter. Name 3 films except for Die Hard 4, 5, and Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, but realistically, like that character doesn't matter. Like, who's going to go to the film thinking that's the character I'm going to go and see?
We're on about an actress who is the heavy hitter.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. Good shout.
Yeah.
See, with a bit of
pressure and a bit of peer pressure.
My point was that anyone could play that role. Like,
so I think Ben Kingsley could have played Carl Rayner's character now.
Who's Ben Kingsley?
You don't know who Ben Kingsley is?
Well, no, it'll come to me.
Gander.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. No, sorry, guys.
I think that Robert Downey Jr. could probably do Danny Ocean because he's got that charm. But would he do it? I wouldn't really want to see him in it. But
I think
he'd
he'd probably be better as Brad Pitt character.
Yeah, I'll give you that then. So,
God, this is a really poor cast.
It's not
Mark Ruffalo, Matt Damon.
Yeah,
we're just making a fucking Avengers.
Yeah, that's it.
Sorry, but no.
Where everyone
I'm thinking more about his role in Spotlight. He's like
Chris Evans to play Danny Ocean and Captain America.
I'll Fan then. You got to take Downey, either Downey or
take Downey out.
I'll take
Matt Ruffalo out. Matt Ruffalo or Downey out. I take Downey would play Danny Ocean really well, and you know he would.
I'll take Ruffalo out.
I'd take Ruffalo
Anyone
out,
could play
Ruffalo would, yeah.
You just need like a sort of. Who's the guy out of Who's the guy out of Whiplash?
Oh,
the young guy.
Yeah, it's not
Miles Teller.
Yeah,
that guy.
Miles Teller. That's
I like that. Yeah.
Bam! He's back in.
Scarlett Johansson, Idris Elba, and
who's playing Brad Pitt?
Marcella. Downey.
Okay, right.
Now.
George Clooney. Now this is going to be a big. We all need to agree on this. I'm not saying we're not going to move on until we all agree.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not moving on until we agree. And it's got to be someone who can heavy hit.
Danny fucking DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
No. Danny DeVito could play Carl Rayner though.
Yeah, no, I want to put him in there.
Yeah,
Ryan Gosling.
Oh, no.
No, it wouldn't be Camarade with Downey. It's a good shout though. Good shout.
I think you need to get someone that...
Ryan Reynolds, no.
Jude Law.
I don't like Ryan Reynolds.
No, because you've got the... No, because Jude Law, you've got to have the archetype.
Yeah.
Jude Law's not that sort of actor.
I'm just remembering the scene in Tartan Rich Ripley. No! Hit the fucking paddle. Oh my god. I shouldn't laugh at it, but it's
that's quite weird how you laughed at that.
It's quite a funny scene, sorry.
DiCaprio?
He wouldn't do it, would he? I mean...
Let's say he would, though.
I don't think
so. Let's be honest, is Danny DeVito going to do this? Is Scarlett Johansson going to do this?
Yes, they would.
Is Downey going to do this?
Yes, they would do that. DiCaprio...
I didn't think we were going for realism.
Yeah, I don't think...
I think DiCaprio would be good in it.
Yeah, he might be good
then
in it.
Would he have chemistry with Scarlett Johansson?
He wouldn't do it. Christine Bale?
No.
I mean, it's not... It's... I guess it's not the archetype player I thought it would be. Ben Affleck, no. Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, yeah, I'll give you that. Henry Cavill, yeah.
Yes! I got 3
I really like him in Man Out of Uncle.
That film is a really good film to just enjoy. I love Arnie Hammer's really good in it. I could watch it. No, so it's a shame that Garrett doesn't make the films he did at the start. But I like how he's adopted to Hollywood, but made it his style in Hollywood.
Yeah, I was going to interview him, but his agent.
Yeah, he told you to piss right off.
Yeah, apparently he's too busy.
Guy Ritchie.
I got an email back from his agent.
But he's filming.
I mean, if you're listening to this guy, I'm still available.
Let's be honest. If anyone's, we're going to get a court order before.
He was filming King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah, and he's in the midst of a divorce. So, I don't think Dave was on his list.
I think he saw me and he was like, "Look, I'm going to get back to him. I just need to sort a couple things out first." So, Guy, I know you're a big fan.
So Cavill is Danny Ocean. Downey is Brad Pitt. Scarlett Johansson as Julia Roberts' character. Idris Elba as
Danny Garcia.
Danny DeVito as Elliot Gould.
Yeah.
Ben Kingsley as Carl Rayner.
No. It was going to be
Danny DeVito for Carl Rayner. Ben Kingsley for Elliot Gould, and then
what about Michael B. Jordan for the Casino Guy?
Nice. Andy Garcia, mate.
That's Idris Elba.
Okay.
Michael B. Jordan's too young.
And
then Miles Teller for
I keep getting mixed up Garcia
and then Don Cheadle.
Are we going for the route that Don Cheadle played him as well?
I'd rather go native.
No, I think that it's meant to be tongue firmly in cheek.
Hang on. What's his name?
It's got to be a character.
Force Awakens guy.
John Boyega.
Yeah, John Boyega.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think he's a bit too young.
He is a bit young.
I'm on about like actors who wouldn't play that part at all.
Okay.
Because Don Cheadle would never be able to play a Cockney's guy. He plays it as a joke.
Oh, okay.
So you got to have someone who could do that as a joke.
Brad Pitt.
No, you could have no, you can have Brad Pitt.
I mean,
Sharlto Copley, because he plays the A-team really well.
Silence there.
Yeah. So no, is that a no?
Thinking about it, I don't know.
Sharlto Copley could play it really well.
Liam Neeson.
No, because Liam Neeson's he won't play it well. Yeah, but it's not that bad. He's Irish, is it?
Yeah, well done.
I will find you.
If Jack Black, like on the Tropic Thunder performance, that'd be quite funny.
Yeah,
and he was quite Cockney's, yeah. So we've cast that there.
It's
the worst cast I think I've ever seen.
I think that's one of my favourite casts I've ever seen.
I'll give them all a call. I'll be like, look,
Danny DeVito's in a new film, right? It's a black and white, and it's about this hotel where someone's died. And I saw like a poster for it, and he's walking with this really famous actress, and he's that big. He's like 2'4", and she's like 6 foot.
Convinced the only reason I love Danny DeVito is
it's always sunny.
I can't see him in anything else other than Always Sunny now.
No, he's really good. He's really good in Batman Returns.
Penguin actually, because he's quite transformative in that.
Yeah,
but, Man on the Moon, though. When I watched Man on the Moon, I could not see Frank Reynolds.
I think we've got to try and get Arnie's role in that film as well at some point.
Arnie would just be like a cameo, like bump into someone like.
Can you play the guy who beats him up?
No, because it's too small a role for Arnold Schwarzenegger. No.
Well, then he'll join the team. We'll just rewrite it completely.
Yeah.
Arnold
Schwarzenegger could play Vincent Cassell.
Let's rob this casino.
In the second one, in the third one. He could play the casino one in the second one, the third one, like Vincent Cassell's character.
Don't rob my casino!
Yeah. Danny Ocean!
Danny Ocean, what are you doing? Go! Don't steal my money!
$20 bill, no!
Can we get Christopher Walken a role as well?
Yes.
I mean, let's not go into impression corner. So, if anyone's got anything else to say, then say it now.
I think about all the films we've chosen, this is the easiest and most comfortable to watch without any sort of predetermined mindset.
And again, it's got the least to say about it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not
necessarily a bad thing.
I think that's a good thing because you can watch it as a whole in the film. You don't have to go. When you watch Reservoir Dogs and you've got that, oh god, that was so good. Like I love the characters. And this you're not going to talk about afterward because everything you see you get, and I like that in a film. But it's not something that I don't. Scholars not going to talk about this in 20 years' time. It's just one of those films where it's good fun.
Style or something like that, but even then,
yeah, it's just it's good fun. It's really good fun.
I liked it.
Same vein as Big Lebowski and Predator. They're good fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Rob, anything?
Enjoyed it. It's not my favourite film we've done, but it's not like bad either.
Would it be highly rated in any films you've seen that?
I gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd, so that's not
I'd give it 4 stars as well. It's not 5 stars.
I'd give it 4. Yeah,
I don't do
Letterboxd though. So
right. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for voting.
Yeah. Cheers. Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Yeah, we're all getting more of it.